Hello there YouTube, this is Aaron again, coming to you with another video. I feel as though I needed to do this video because I've been singing the praises of this FX Impact on all my videos, how wonderful a gun it is, and it is, and just how much I love it. And I also been telling all my friends about it. And now it seems that all of my friends and a few of the people that have responded on YouTube now want this gun and are willing to wait up to 6 months for it and pay close to $2,000 for it. And I don't think that should happen, to be honest with you. I really do think that this gun here is a gun that you graduate to. It's a gun that once you get it, you should have ultimate respect for what it is and what it can do and what it will allow you to do with it in terms of tuning and anything else you want to do. And I don't think you can just jump to that. I think it's something you have to work with. I think there's some prerequisites to this gun. And if you don't feel those prerequisites, when you get this gun, you have no idea what you have or what to do with it. And so I wanted to do a video just to do two things. One is to talk about my journey and how I ended up with this gun. And hopefully that'll help you to understand where you are and perhaps where you should be in terms of getting this gun. And then lastly, I want to make some recommendations for those of you, especially those guys that are new, the people that don't even have a PCP yet, and have seen this video and other videos and now think, wow, I have to have that gun. Because truth told, all these guns are accurate as heck. Go look at the videos. Almost all of them that are any good at all, and even the ones that can give you a 1 or 2 inch group at 100 yards, can give you a 1 inch or a half inch group at 50 yards. That's just where their technology is right now. So I want to just do my part to make sure that people have given some thought to this process before dropping $2 grand and up to $3,000 grand, depending on how you want to outfit this gun. And that way, I'm not even talking about how you feel this gun, which can get astronomical in and of itself. So let's just begin. I talked about this as a gun that you graduate to. It is a journey. It's a journey to this gun. At least it was for me, and I'm hoping it'll be a journey for you too. And that is this. You know, I want to show you something new, especially you guys from the baby boomers. All the baby boomers are gonna remember this gun. Okay, this isn't the gun. I wish I still had our gun from when we got in 1958, the Red Ryder. This is a replica, kind of a replica of it, and I keep it around because I like to go outside and just shoot this sometime. Takes me back to my childhood and see if I can still hit 10 cans at 25 yards and how often, and then to turn them upside down, try to hit the bottom of them at 25 yards after I got it sighted in a little bit. But I keep these guns around. I got 2 of them. I keep these guns around so when kids come over, because when kids come over my house and they never shot a gun before, when they leave here, they're gonna be able to tell all their friends, I shot a gun. Now, it's a BB gun, mind you, but to a kid, they shot a gun. They shot and they hit a can and they heard it go pink and it was exciting. And I got in trouble with some of the parents because there are a lot of parents around now who don't want their kids to even know guns exist, let alone shoot one. And I think that's a mistake, but that's politics, and we'll get into that in the future. But for the first part, in 1958, it all started for me with a Red Ryder BB gun that my brother got for his birthday. That he got for Christmas. That I couldn't get because I was too young. And how he hoarded that gun for the first week or so and wouldn't let me touch it. And after that, we would go out and shoot together. And we'd go hunting. And we would bring back, every now and then we get a dove or a pigeon, but for the most part, we brought back robins. And we would bring back robins and we would beg our grandmother to cook them, and she'd get mad and she'd, "Can these doggone things, they were using up my grease?" And she would fry them up for us, and we'd take them out on the porch and we'd sit down and we'd look at each other with this big smile on our face. Not because we were accurate with the gun, not because we owned a Daisy, but because we had gone out into the big world and hunted in the jungles and brought back the food. And we were sitting there enjoying our catch. Proud moment for us. So we shot those for a number of years. And as you know, those guns are not accurate at all. But you can get to understand your gun well enough to where you can take out a robin most of the time at 20 yards with that gun. And then later on we graduated. We got a little bit of our own money and we bought bought Crosman CO2s. And CO2s took it to another level. It was a more accurate gun. And we went into pellets yet. We had a CO2 that actually shot BB still. And eventually we went to the CO2 pellet gun. But it taught us to take your time and hit your target. Because those CO2s cost money. Okay? And you did not want to miss because you're going to have so many shots and you're going to be, when those CO2s were gone, I never will forget putting in the last CO2 cartridge, knowing that this was it. Until we got some more money to go buy some more, another pack of 5 of them. So it taught us, the other gun we just shot. BBs, we shot them all day long. You get them for a nickel, I think, for a pack of them. We shot them all day long. Got to these, now we got to be really restricted with our shots. Then we left there and went to the Springers. Now with the Springers, it was the same thing. You had to cock the doggone thing, put a pellet in it and shoot it. So you really, when you shot, you wanted to hit the, because you know if you missed, by the time you cocked that thing, put a pellet in and shot again, it was gone. Unless it was stupid, it was totally gone. It's over. You had to make the first shot. So we learned now to really, really be honed in on our guns and know our guns and be able to shoot those guns well. And in the Springers, we had everything from Diana's to Beeman's to Gamos, you name it. We owned it. I remember buying for $500 and I almost died. I think it was the first 25 caliber pellet gun. You can look that up. It was the Kodiak, Beeman Kodiak. And they had a Crow Magnum out too at that time. I think they were shooting it up in that range. And so those were serious guns for us. And I shot those for years, shot Springers for years. Squirrel hunt, everything was with those. Got pretty good with them. Then all of a sudden I ran into this guy and he had I never forget it, he had a Benjamin Marauder. And he was shooting this thing and he was shooting this thing. And I'm like, wow, how's he doing that? No CO2s had that kind of capacity. So I went over and I engaged in a conversation with him. He said, oh no, this is a Benjamin Marauder, it's a pre-charged pneumatic. You have to fill it with it. He showed me a little tank he had and how he did it. I said, wow, this is really cool. Ran home, hopped on the internet, start searching around. I want to see what these PCPs are. The first thing I ran into was a guy called Ted Holdover. Watched one of his videos, then another. Ended up watching his videos, I think, the whole day. By the time that video was over with, I was ready to throw all my Springers away and go and get me a PCP. Now back then, I don't know how it is now, but back then getting egg guns was actually harder than getting an FX Impact is now. You may not believe that, but it was. One guy selling them out of California, hard as heck to get in contact with him, never could. Ended up getting lucky and I found a used one. I purchased it, I shot it, I loved it. Accuracy, quiet, really loved this gun. But the thing was, I was back to those days of the Springers. If I shot at that squirrel and hit him, and didn't hit him good, didn't hit him in the right place, by the time I got that gun down, cocked it and put it back up, that squirrel went up the tree and locked, or ran off, or hit the ground and ran off, before I could even get another shot off. Because I had to take my eye off of him in order to reach in my pocket and put another one in it. I wasn't that good at it. And so it took me back. So I shot that gun for a few years and then all of a sudden I look up and there's this new gun out. Actually it came out at the same time, I believe. No, they didn't. I think it came out after. I was looking at the FX Bobcat and looked at it, just couldn't buy that gun because it just looked fat. It looked like somebody, it just looked fat. It looked like he needed a diet. And then all of a sudden I look up and I see this sweet, sleek thing called an FX Wildcat. And this is my second PCP right here. And I still love this thing. 60 yards in, forget about it. It's down. This thing here just doesn't miss. If you ain't got no wind, it's over. Hopefully you got some wind that's gonna push that pellet a little bit and get it off, because if it's not, it's over. That gun is that accurate. Love that thing. And then I said, you know, I want something a little bit more powerful. And I found out there was a gun out there for $650, around $650, that was 25, and a 25. I said, wow, that's good for 25. And also, it was adjustable. You could adjust the hammer spring, and you could adjust the power setting on it. It had a power wheel on it. Wow, let me get this. I get this gun, and I'm playing around with it. I'm playing with the power wheel. I put my first regulator in one of those. Bought it off the internet and put it in. And I was really feeling confident in myself. And I was adjusting that thing and playing with the power wheel and all of that. And all of a sudden I look up and there's another gun out called the FX Impact. I said, wow, now this gun here is slick. Gotta have it. By the time I got this thing, I knew what tuning the gun was. 'Cause I've been playing around with that gun over there for about a year. And knew what the power head wheel was, knew how to put in a regulator, knew how to do the hammer spring adjust. I had those things. So I understood what this gun could do before I even bought it. I said, wow, when I get this gun, I'm going to be able to do a lot of things with it. So that was my graduation. I started out in 1958 with this gun with my brother, and went through all these guns over a lifetime, understanding and learning something at each stage of the way before arriving where I am now, and a gun is totally tunable. And if I want to go out and set this gun to shoot at 759.5 feet per second, I could adjust this gun to do that. That's what this gun is. That's why I said they're prerequisite to it. For you to fully understand and love this gun, you have to have gone through the guns before so you can see what the potential is you have in your hand. To go out and spend $2,000 on this gun just to be doing it, I think it's wrong. I'll give you an example. I was a tennis coach and teacher, and we used to have classes and stuff. And every now and then, this kid would show up, or this adult. Mainly the adults, not so much kids, but the adults would show up. And this guy would walk in, he have a $300 tennis racket, he have the latest shoes on, he have on $75 pants, $50 shirt, $25 Nike hat, and walk on the court and couldn't hit a tennis ball if you threw it to him in slow motion. Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy that's walking around with an impact in your hand, with your chest stuck out, knowing absolutely nothing about this gun or what it can do or understanding the ballistics of it or anything of it. Graduate to it. If you have the money, even if you have the money, and I don't really have that much money, but I save for them and I get what I want. And it takes me a while sometimes, but I get it. But don't be that guy that walks around with a gun that you have no real respect for, only the fact that everybody has it and it's supposed to be the best thing that's out. Don't do that. And for you guys that I'm really talking to, and that's you guys that are really just getting into this PCP thing, $2,500, $3,000 is a lot of jumping off money. You can do just as well for a fraction of that cost, and that's what I want to talk about next. I think that if you get into the PC today, that you can get in with a gun, a reasonable scope. You're not going to get a Hawk Sidewinder, but with a reasonable scope and a reasonable bipod and a tank to fill it with that you can take to your scuba store to have filled, I think you can get in for $650 and be very accurate. And have a very accurate and powerful gun that you can hunt with, that you can learn about, and then move up to your next level when you're ready to. And I'm going to make some recommendations here that's going to get you in about that level. Benjamin has two guns out. They had a Marauder out, which has been around a long time. I understand that they really made some improvements on that. Comes in about $499. They got a gun under that one that comes at $350. I can't remember. You have to look the model number up of that Benjamin. Hatson has out two. Hatson has out a ton of them actually that are really, really cheap. But I'm all about bullpups. I fell in love with bullpups when I first saw Ted with that air gun Matador, and I've been in love with them since. As you can see right here, I got three guns, and all three of them are the bullpups variety, because that's what I like. But if you don't want to go into that, and you shouldn't, because bullpups are a little bit more expensive, Hatson has out two. They have out one they call the Bull Boss. It just came out, I think, last year. The Bull Boss it looks much like the Gladius here. Really nice gun, really cheap, pretty effective gun, and you can be out there shooting at, what would that be, a quarter the cost of this gun. Another company I would recommend is Air Arms. Air Arms has a couple of guns that are coming in under that. Gammo has a couple that's coming in under that. Now there's a new gun out. I don't know anything about it. I just saw it on the internet, and a lot of people was excited about it. I am excited about the price, and then we'll take a look at the rest of it to see how much more excitement it can generate. But right now they have a gun out. It is called the Umarex, U-M-A-R-E-X, I believe, Gauntlet. This gun is a PCP that is regulated for $299. I'm going to get one. if that thing, when they start when they start doing reviews on this thing, if this thing is accurate, if it can, if at 50 yards, if it could go an inch at 50 yards, I'm buying it, because I have people coming over now, kids that are coming over now. They used to shoot these guns. Now they're too big for it. You know, that you need to let them hit a target, hit a little 1-inch bail at 50 yards from a bench position, and have them jump up and down. You know, this gun amazed them hitting a can at 15 yards. I don't know what's going to happen then, but I don't like them to touch these guns here. They cost too much. So I'm going to get one of those just for that. So I'm really excited about that for those people who are just breaking into it. Look up that Umarex Gauntlet for $2.99 because I think that's a good start gun, and if that thing is accurate, I think you should jump into it. The other thing I want to talk about is how you charge these guns. Now they have the pumps out. If you're young, you might want one of those. I'm not dealing with it. I don't think at my age is going to be dealing with a hand pump. And the other pumps start at $1,000 and go up. Okay, the best way to go, and when I first started out, I did buy a God, I forget what it's called now, something box, but Matchbox is what it's called. So Matchbox compressor. I bought this thing for $750. Now they're $1,000, and I used it to pump my gun up every time, because at that time I wasn't even thinking about scuba tanks because they were so heavy. But I did buy a small scuba tank for when I went out to the field. But since then, I learned some other things, and that's the carbon fiber. And I want to talk to you about carbon fibers real quick. I'm thinking about doing a video on this, but maybe I can say enough here that I don't have to. I have two carbon tanks. Both of them were used by the fire departments. Okay, the fire departments buy these things massive amounts and give them to all the firefighters. And every few years they recycle them. Some of them will hold those things for quite a few years. And so when you get it, like the small one I'm going to bring up here, when you get this this tank, this carbon fiber tank, this one here had 2 years on it. Okay, this is a 2002. Carbon fiber tanks are only good for 15 years. Then you can't get them legally filled again. They've tested these things after 30 years and found them to be perfectly adequate. But that's the law, and no one has changed it yet. So 15 years. This is a 2002. When I got it, it had a year and a half on it, and I got it for $85. I thought it was worth it. Because I could go in and get it filled to 4,500 pounds, and I would fill my gun a bunch of times. Now, it's going to be up. It's going to be up in March, and I can no longer get this thing filled. But I would taking it to a scuba shop in years, because what I do with this thing is I fill this with my Matchbox compressor to 3,500 pounds, and then when it's down, I can refill it again. And this is my one for just shooting around the house. Now my next one I really got lucky on. If you can get this lucky, jump up and down. This is the big boy. Okay, this is an hour supply for someone who's breathing in a fire or whatever. But this is the big fellow. Okay, I got this here for $145 on the internet, and it's a 2010. So when I bought this, it had 15 years left on it. Okay, it goes to the year 2025. It's 2007 now. I got 8 more years on it. So when you buy this thing, look at the year on it, because if you want to get it filled at a scuba store or something like that, it's gonna have to be inside 15 years. I was lucky to find one for $135. This thing here runs $800. I was lucky to find one for this amount, and I found them on the internet. You need to go into YouTube and type this in, and every now and then you're gonna see them pop up. They're gonna have hundreds of them, but they're gonna be outdated. No good for you unless you have your own pump. If you have your own pump, you can pump this thing up and take it out yourself. Because like I said, they've tested these things at 30 years and found them to be adequate to hold 4,500 pounds with no problem. But no one's gonna do it for you legally. But if you can find one 3, 4, 5 years on it for $100 and some, get it. Now if you look at this one, I made this strap. If you look at this is the thing that went around that they carried on their back. They carried this had belts on and went around their back. I just used it as something to sit it on. Okay, this tank here is called an SCBA tank, and it takes an SCBA hose assembly. When you buy one, and you just buy the tank, if you buy the SCBA hose assembly online, it's gonna cost you $175. Okay, and that's because of an attachment that's right here. But I was lucky. If you can find one of these that still have the mask and the tubes that go to the mask, you ain't gonna need that, but it's gonna still have the connection for this top piece. That's the important one. And I'm gonna show you that connection on here. Okay, I made this. This was $175 if I bought it. All these parts that I got on here, I got on eBay for less than $75. And just put it together. There's a guy that's got a video on there on how to make these and what parts you need to make it. And you can look that up. But I made this for less than $75 instead of paying $175 for the other one. But you can't do it. Don't do it unless you have the mask, because if it doesn't have this little red part on here, which is the part that hooks to the mask and runs to the mask, then you're going to have to go ahead and buy the assembly for $175. But if it has this on there, this is only a 1/4, and all 1/4 pipe fittings fit. And all I bought was the thing to take the pressure off. This was already there, just hooked it to a 4-valve thing. Got it. And you really don't need this pressure valve up there. You can watch the one on the gun, but I wanted one up here that I could see easily, and then the hose. So $75 for this, $135 for that, $200, and I'm in the game for 10 years, for 15 years. So look on the internet and keep checking, because those fire departments, they'll jump up and they'll go. And every now and then you'll find someone selling one of these all by themselves. And the main thing is the date, the manufacturing date. Whatever that date is, add 15 years to it, and that's how good it is. Okay? So if you're lucky, and you decide to go with that gauntlet gun, just think, you're into the game. You're shooting for $300 for the gauntlet. If you can get, let's just say you try one for $150, or even one of the small ones for $100. That's $100. Then you either make that one for $75 or buy one for $175 and throw it in there. You're in the game for $550. You're shooting for get you a reasonable scope. You're shooting for $550, and it only costs $10 to fill. And this is a funny thing. My little tank or my big tank, no matter which one I take to the scuba shop, is $10. Get the biggest tank you can. So you can go there. And I'll say this last thing and I'll go. When you get your tanks, do not go with a scuba tank 3,000 pounds of pressure, because as soon as you start to fill your gun, it starts dropping immediately. If you can get a 4,500 one, it's going to be a long time before it gets down to 3,000. And then I take mine down to 2,500, because I think my regulator is set at 150 before I take it in to have it done again. So basically what I want to say to you guys today is there's a cheaper way of getting into this, and I'm cheap. There's a cheaper way of getting into this. And if you're breaking into this, you know, if you got a number of guns sitting around and you're ready for impact and you understand it and you know what you want to do with it, then go ahead and pay that $2,000 basically for impact. But if you're just breaking into this, graduate to it. And not only that, the impact is a big thing now. I think 2017 at the SHOT Show, they came up with some things that are going to be a little bit in competition with it. But I guarantee you for 2018, impact might be passé. Everybody's going to be stepped up. So you're going to be waiting on a gun that may be passé in a year, when you could go ahead and be shooting. And by the time you get it in 6 months, it could be almost passé. You could be shooting right now and waiting for the next best thing. Just like I did waiting on my baby here, the Wildcat, which I think still is I would still say this is overall, in terms of guns, this is still their best effort. In terms of bullpups. This graduated way up, but this was their best effort to me. Love that gun. Anyway, just felt as though I needed to talk to you guys a little bit about this impact, and all the people out there screaming and hollering about it that maybe should not be. I want to thank you guys for looking at this video, and I look forward to doing some more for you in the future as I learn more things about this lovely sport that we're into. And as I always say, let's just keep learning and keep sharing with each other about this great sport that we love so much, and keep the videos coming so we can keep improving on what we do. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Oh, and for those guys of you who looked at my last video on night vision, my Fox came back. I got 3 minutes of Fox video. Just another example of this in your particular case, if you buy the right one, your $45 night vision camera at work. So stay tuned for that, and thanks again.